everybody in the world, Chris Daukaus included, fans included, coaches included, said, all right, when's the shot coming? Michael Bisping, I'm so surprised the man hasn't taken a shot. It's been 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He's just sitting there boxing with him. In Curtis Blaydes' mind, he said, I was out here to make a statement, to prove a point. I beat Chris Daukaus. Now I want Stipe Miocic or I want Cyril Gane. Either one of those dudes, if I win, gets me to a title shot. And I agree with him. However, how convincing is it to say, all right, I'm going to fight Francis Ngannou for the third time? You've been knocked out twice by Francis Ngannou prior to that. Does he get a third fight? If he does win, do we get such thing as a challenger fatigue, I guess you should say? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, is Caitlin Chikagian going to get like another shot at Valentina? Like, where are we at with this, man? First off, tell me how impressive of a performance it was. And then, what do you think about that?
Derek, it was so impressive of a win that it hurt as a Daukaus fan, brother.
Yeah.
That was one of those ones where you saw him, the coaches come out, they tell him, jab, throw a jab, and then throw one to the body. Whole time I'm thinking, I was like, this is gonna work, and then like you see Daukaus just eat a right hand to the mouth, goes down. It was a very tough one to win, or a tough loss, excuse me, for Daukaus. But Curtis Blaydes, man, looked good. Will he get the next title shot? Maybe with a couple more knockouts. If he knocks out Stipe and then he goes in, or maybe if he knocks out Gane, I think with the knockout, especially a first round knockout on either of those fighters, then we're in the talk. But I think right now, do we want to see the Curtis Blaydes versus Gane, versus the champ?
Ngannou, brother.
Ngannou. Do we want to see Blaydes versus Ngannou? I don't really know, man, especially with how the injury length time that we're going to see Ngannou out. This whole thing's a shakeup, man. I'm down to see it. I'm down to see the fight again. But if with a knockout first, I think that entices the fans a little bit more, entices the matchmakers just a little bit more. What do you think? How is Blaydes going to be able to get that title shot? Because I agree, it's not the most interesting draw. It's hard to make a story out of as well.
I agree with that last part that you said. It's hard to make a story out of if we go back to this situation again. I will say one of the things that the commentary team mentioned was that, is Curtis Blaydes trying to move away from the wrestling a little bit? Is he trying to go more strike-oriented, more stand-up oriented? And while I don't think that's the case, I think maybe for this fight he was able to get away with it. I don't think it's going to be going away from the thing that got you to the dance. And we say it time and time again, you cannot do that. You must stick to the things that got you to the dance, because at the end of the day, those are the things that are going to win you the championship right there. So I don't know, man. I do think if we see a third time against Francis Ngannou, let's not forget what Francis Ngannou just did to Cyril Gane, right? Dude could wrestle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's an all-star D1 wrestler, but he could wrestle a little bit, might be able to hold his own there. And the worst thing that you want in this situation is get knocked out by the dude who is now the champ, who was knocked you out 2 other times, a third time. Because at that point, are you not relegated to obscurity? There is no, all right, you knocked me out 3 times, but the 4th time, brother, I got you. I just don't necessarily see that happening. So I think it needs to line up. I think if Curtis Blaydes was really smart, he might just kind of say, all right, I still got a lot of time left in this game. Let me just kind of wait it out. Maybe Ngannou doesn't want to stick around in the promotion. Maybe we might get a new champion. And if we do get that new champion, that's my time to come in and storm in and get the belt. Maybe they set up another interim belt. I don't know. But I do think, though, at the end of the day, man, he can be the world's greatest gatekeeper, or he could be a champion. It all depends on whether Francis Ngannou is the champion of the heavyweight division or not. Now, AJ, real quick, I just wanted to ask you on the other side of this. I wanted to go back to the Chris Daukaus situation. You lose 2 main events back-to-back via knockout. Now, this is the heavyweights, right? This is not something that is like, oh, my God, you got knocked out. That's what happened. That's heavyweight power. One shot, you slip, that's game over, right? Do you think that Curtis Blaydes has any validity when he talks about maybe you should drop down to 205, brother? Maybe you're not a real, true heavyweight, because he has real speed advantages at heavyweight. Power, not so much. You know what I mean? He has power, but everyone has power at heavyweight. But it's really the speed and the agility that gets it done for him. Do you think he should move down to 205, or do you think he does have a lasting future in the heavyweight division?
Man, I think he has a lasting future in the heavyweight division. Because, correct me, his little brother fights at 170 or 185?
185 pounds.
Okay, so he still has that divisional gap between them. So that way he's never, not in the same class. Dropping down to 205, he keeps the benefit. He's still a very fast heavyweight, so he's losing that aspect to his game. Once you drop down a weight class, that next division, they're going to be just as fast, if not faster than you, when you were faster than everyone else at heavyweight, as well as he keeps a little bit of the speed. I think it's a bad call. I think it's a bad call jumping forward, or at least jumping down, excuse me. If he's able to stay at heavyweight, we see the new type of heavyweight that's coming in, but they got fast hands, they got fast feet, so I think he can get a little bit more things going. I can see why, though. I can see why Curtis Blaydes say that, because these dudes that they're fighting, they're excuse me, they're like 280. You know, they're cutting weight to get to 265.
Absolutely.
That's a 40-pound gap for Daukaus. I can see why, but I still think it's a bad call. Maybe a couple more, and then he drops down. What do you think?
Well, I'll say this. When you lose to the respective number 3 and number 4 contenders in the baddest division in the planet, the heavyweights, you don't got nothing to hang your hat on, my man. Let's stick around for a little bit, stick in the middle of the pack, and fight some of the dudes who aren't the top of the division, get a little more experience up, and then get back at it, and we'll see what happens. Let's not forget, Curtis Blaydes, like I said, he dropped a couple before he went on this massive run, right? 2 to Ngannou and 1 to Derek Lewis, man. So, obviously, Blaydes is on his way back up to the hiatus and all that good stuff. We'll see what happens. Huge win by Curtis Blaydes, and I do expect him to be fighting legitimately some of the top contenders in the division besides Francis Ngannou for the next fight. We'll see what happens, though.